The alien princess feared touching humans. Until she touched him, he just wanted to save a life, and for that, they threw him into hell. Dust stung the visor. Captain Elliot Raven braced himself inside the crashing shuttle, alarms howling, panels shorting out. Emergency signals screamed into space, unanswered. Of course, his mission had been off the record. Now he was officially erased. "Perfect," he muttered, eyes on the flashing console. Crashed ship, alien death planet, the charming scent of burning circuits. All I need now is a sarcastic space judge and my bingo card is full. Just an hour ago he'd still been a captain. Technically, unofficially, he was now classified as rogue asset. He broke protocol, he saved alien children, and command wiped him out like an error in the system. He wasn't supposed to intervene. Orders were clear: observe, report, do not interfere. But when humanitarian aid was blocked and the Virtana sector started losing entire families to hunger, he acted. He sent relief, secretly, and that was all it took. Now his ship was dying in atmosphere, and beneath him, Zelfir, a forbidden world, closed Sakhir territory. No one came here unless they were desperate or stupid. The Sakhir weren't just aliens, they were legend, towering, scale-skinned, with coiled horns and armor like living sculpture. To them, touching a human was more than taboo. It was spiritual defilement. They called themselves sovereigns. Humans called them monsters. Elliot stepped out into thick, blood-colored mist. His boots sank into cracked obsidian. The heat pressed down like a threat. And then, footsteps. He turned, froze. She stood on the ridge like a blade drawn from starlight. Tall, powerful, cloaked in strange, layered armor that shimmered like metal and breath. Her scales glowed with violet undertones, her horns curved back like sculpted obsidian, and her presence. It didn't just command the space, it redefined it. She looked at him as one might look at a disease under glass. "You're human," she said. Her voice was smoke over iron. "You smell offensive." "Pleased to meet you," Elliot replied. "I was hoping for a local tour guide. You know, show me the lava pits, recommend a nice cafe." She didn't smile, but her eyes narrowed, just slightly. Maybe that meant something. "You've already broken our laws," she said. "You breathe our air." He raised his hands. "Look, I didn't crash here on purpose. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I just want to survive the next 10 minutes without exploding." She studied him in silence, then abruptly turned and motioned toward the canyon. "Follow me. Stay behind me. Do not speak unless you want to die." "Charming hospitality," he muttered, following. They hadn't walked far before the sky lit up. Energy nets dropped from the clouds, drones fired. Elliot ducked instinctively and recognized the tech. Human, military grade. "Great," he said. "Guess command didn't want to leave loose ends." She drew her weapon in a blur, sliced a drone mid-air. "Why are your people hunting you?" "Because I did the unthinkable. I helped someone who wasn't strategically useful." She hesitated. A flicker of... what was that? Sympathy? Disgust? "You're foolish," she said. "Too soft to survive." "You're not wrong," he said, deflecting another blast. "But I do have a great sense of irony." She activated her gauntlet. A shimmer opened in the air. A rip in space, leading underground. "Go, before I change my mind." He dove in. She followed. The tunnels were dark, breathing, alive. Walls pulsed with soft light, as if listening. "Cozy place you've got," he said. "Where's the gift shop?" She spun, blocked his path. "You will help me. A Sakhir general vanished here. You will find him." "Me? What part of out-of-work human crash victim screams elite tracker to you? You're human, unnoticeable, dispensable." He raised an eyebrow. "Wow, I feel very valued right now." She stepped closer, so close he could feel her warmth. Strange, spicy, not quite metallic. Her hand moved, then stopped. "Do not touch me," she said. "I will not touch you. I cannot." Why? My body is dangerous. My touch has killed before. He stared into her eyes. Then maybe it's lucky for you. I'm not afraid to get burned. A flicker. Something passed through her expression. Don't think you're special. Oh, I always think I'm special. It's how I survive things like this. And in that breathless silence between them, something shifted, unspoken, undeniable. The tunnels pulsed with light and silence, alive, ancient, breathing. Elliot walked behind her, this alien, this princess, still unsure if she might kill him for breathing too loudly. The air buzzed faintly with bioenergy. The walls shimmered with veins of living stone. And she, Tashara, hadn't said a word in almost 15 minutes. He couldn't take it anymore. So, do you always lead strangers through murder tunnels in complete silence? Or am I just lucky? She didn't stop. You talk too much. It's distracting. Where I come from, we call it conversation. Helps keep the paranoia from eating your brain. Where I come from, we remove the tongues of those who talk without purpose. He smirked. Sounds festive, but underneath the banter, he felt it. Tension. Not anger, not threat, something else. She was shaking. Barely, but it was there. Not from fear, not from rage, from restraint. Then she said quietly, I'm infected. He slowed. Infected with what? She stopped walking. Fear. Of touch. I wasn't always like this. When I was a child, one of your kind touched me. He died almost instantly. I was told I was cursed, that my skin was a weapon, that my touch brings death. She turned her face away. I haven't touched anyone since. I can't. I won't. Elliot stepped toward her. You think that story makes you dangerous, but maybe it just makes you lied to. You don't understand our culture. No, I don't. But I understand fear, and I know what it looks like when someone's built a cage around it. She didn't answer. Her posture was stiff. Wounded in a way that had nothing to do with war. He said softly, maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're just untested. Still silence, but something had shifted. They walked again, side by side, not close, not yet, but no longer worlds apart. Then they found the body, the missing general, or what was left of him. Burned, twisted, charred armor, one hand still gripping an encrypted data shard embedded in his own ribcage. Elliot moved to retrieve it. Careful, Tashara shouted, but too late. The shard flared with a pulse of energy and sent a shockwave through his arm. He cried out, staggered back, and the ceiling began to collapse. He didn't think. He reached for her, but she was faster. She threw herself forward, slammed into him, knocked them both to the side as the tunnel collapsed. Darkness swallowed them. When he opened his eyes, he was on the ground, alive, covered in dust and blood. She was beside him, on her knees, staring at him. You're not dead, she said. He blinked. Was I supposed to be? I touched you. He stared at her. Her hand was still on his chest. Then you broke your rule. I didn't think. You were falling. I, reacted. So, I'm alive. And you're alive. A pause. Maybe your touch isn't cursed after all. She pulled her hand back slowly, looking at it as if it belonged to someone else. Or maybe you're the first one I didn't kill. He chuckled, a bit too breathless. Or maybe you've been lied to your whole life. She looked at him. I felt something. Not pain, not sickness. That's called connection, he said softly. It's not fatal, just terrifying. She didn't move, just stared at him. Then, slowly, she let her clawed fingers touch his hand again. He closed his around hers. This doesn't feel like a curse, Tashara. Then what does it feel like? He smiled. Like the beginning of something very dangerous. They climbed out, covered in ash, blood, and a strange new stillness between them. But they weren't alone. At the landing platform above stood a team of human officers, armed, prepared. And in the center, Inez Garrow, his former commanding officer. "Hello, Elliot," she said calmly. "You took longer than expected. I thought you might have died in a noble blaze." He stared at her. "You knew I'd disobey?" "Of course, we counted on it. We needed someone reckless, someone who'd act on instinct, someone the Sakhir would trust just enough to open doors." Tashara narrowed her eyes. "You used him." Inez smiled. "I used his weakness, compassion, predictable and convenient." She tossed a datapad to the ground. "Transmission logs, all your steps, all your contacts. We have what we need. You can die now or be useful a little longer." "But she's coming with us." Elliot stepped between them. Number Inez raised a brow. "You're protecting her?" "I'm protecting truth. She's not the enemy. You are." Then Tashara stepped forward, her voice low and firm. "You want a war, I see it now, but I won't be your trigger." And without a word, she reached for Elliot's hand again. The touch was deliberate, slow, visible. Inez stared at it as if watching history fracture. "This is sedition," she hissed. "No," Elliot said. "This is choice." Above them, the sky lit up again, Sakhir warships decloaked, enormous, glowing. Her people had come. Tashara looked up. "If I don't speak now, they'll burn everything." Inez drew her gun. "Then let them." Tashara moved. She placed her hand on Inez's bare arm. The weapon fell. Inez staggered back. "You're not poisonous." Tashara's voice was a whisper. "I never was." They walked away, together. Not as enemies, not as conqueror and conquered, but something else, something new. Fire rained from the sky. Blinding light sliced through the fog. The landing platform shook under the pounding of artillery. Sakhir warships tore through the atmosphere. Humans fired back. Orders collapsed. Fear took command. And in the middle of the chaos stood two, closer than any law of their worlds allowed. Elliot could feel her fingers tighten around his hand. No armor, no barriers, just skin, warm, alive. "If your mother thinks you're being held prisoner, she'll annihilate everyone," he said, yelling over the engine roar. "That's why we have to reach the communications core," she answered. "If we can speak, if we can show them what we are, maybe we stop the bloodshed." "Great," he muttered. "Just give me a heads up if lava's involved. I didn't bring the right boots." They ran, through ruins, falling structures, beams of light and chaos. Downed drones littered the path. Humans and Sakhir soldiers fought blindly, senselessly. No one remembered how it started. But Elliot and Tashara, they knew what had to be done. The core tower loomed ahead, a living structure of crystal and biomech, pulsing, breathing. At its center, a voice conduit, ancient technology, only accessible through royal blood. She stepped forward, touched the node with her fingertips, and the world lit up. "If I die," she said softly, "you must finish my words." "If you die," Elliot growled, "I'll burn this whole station down and write my own history book." She looked at him, long, quiet, and for the first time, unafraid. The node flared, the signal connected. "My name is Tashara Karin," she said, "daughter of the Empress. I am the one who touched a human and did not die." Elliot stepped beside her. "I'm Elliot Raven, captain, traitor, human, and this—" He raised their joined hands. "This is my hand, in the hand of an alien princess. If that scares you, maybe you've already lost." "They taught us to fear each other," she continued. "That humans are filth, that Sakhir are cursed, but fear no longer rules us. We touched, we lived." Her voice caught just slightly. "We are together, let that be seen." Across the galaxy, holograms bloomed, thousands of screens, millions of eyes. Some watched in disgust, some with wonder, and some with hope. Then Skain, the transmission failed. The node burned out. But it didn't matter. The truth had already spread. Footsteps, heavy, cold. Inez. She stepped through the smoke like judgment incarnate. "It's over," she said. "You'll face trial." Elliot stepped forward. "Not just us. All of us. Every last one. And the future. It speaks a new language." She raised her weapon. He didn't move. but neither did Tashara. She stepped between them. Her hand rested gently on Inez's. "I carry your truth," she said, "the one you buried, and I am not afraid." Her fingers brushed Inez's bare skin. Nothing happened. No pain, no death, only silence. "That's not possible," Inez whispered. "You were supposed to be toxic." "I'm not a weapon," Tashara said. "I'm what comes after the fear." The weapon clattered to the floor. They walked away, together. 7 cycles later, a new embassy opened on Zelfir. Its flag, 2 hands, 1 clawed, 1 human, intertwined. And when people asked how it all began, they were told the story of a princess who feared touching humans, until she touched one. And everything changed.